previous seasons where, like, there was a combination. I think Bone Sale was one of them, and like they had to nerf it mid-season. Is there any thoughts on the fact that we're going to have 50% more cards? We're going to have charms. Like, I imagine there's going to be some broken mechanics and some mischief happening in the arena. So I'm curious to any strategies or processes that moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, so we've already kind of started the process even in V2 around the buffer periods and allowing the community to test out meta changes before the full season. And so we'll definitely continue and try to do more of that even to make sure that we can catch things. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's increasingly complex given all the different ways that different combinations and metas can be created now. Yeah, we will definitely just need a lot of feedback with the community as we make these changes. And yeah, the big thing we do want to avoid though is mid-season changes. We as I think everyone was not a fan of that. We are also generally not a fan of that either. Sometimes it might need to be done for the balance of the game, but we definitely want to spend a lot of time testing, making sure we figure out all those kind of edge cases or broken combos before seasons in buffer periods and test periods.
Yeah, I think the bumpy bone sale thing led to a very important and specific conversation internally about how we do that stuff and how that process needs to change. And I think in the future, even if we do determine that something needs to be changed, like, oh my gosh, there's a combo that we all missed that somebody figured out, this is game breaking, it's something that we're going to be much more transparent and communicative about, engage with the community, and maybe even like engage in some basic polls to see how people feel. Should we patch this? Should we let it go to the end of the season? And kind of take it from there. Obviously, it's always case by case. I think we learned a lot from the bumpy bone sale situation, and we'll definitely not repeat that in the future.
Amazing. Awesome, guys. Appreciate the opportunity. And Philip, welcome to the Axie community. We appreciate you, joined our humble community, and we look forward to many great things from you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, appreciate all the love from everyone.
Thanks a lot, Spike. Great question. Let's jump over to Adrian Rodriguez. Adrian, what's going on, brother?
Philip, if you both could answer, what is the most exciting part about V3 that you've been working on from your perspective?
You want to go first, Andrew, or should I?
Sure, I can take it first. My answer is pretty easy. I'm kind of the esports guy, and Origin is huge for esports, right? No more random crits. A game client that's going to be a lot more robust. We're going to start working on features like tournament lobbies. I think in the long term, having like a tournament system in the game client is totally possible and something that I've been pushing for. A lot of our esports plans are super early right now. Like if Axie's in alpha, our esports is pre-alpha. And I think Origin gets us a step closer to being able to launch like real Axie esports type stuff. I think we're all dreaming of this world where we can get towards Axie Pro League and have this full professional circuit. We're not there yet. It's definitely not coming in 2022, but Origin is like the big catalyst that allows us to start taking some of those steps and give us that foundation. So yeah, I think it's just an improvement. I personally think we took the game that we have now, we made it better. We removed some things that weren't so good. We added some new things that we think are going to be really good, and I think that's a formula for a really, really competitive, exciting game. So yeah, just esports, baby. I'm stoked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on my side it's so hard to choose one or even two things, but definitely a big part is free to play, giving accessibility. I remember the first time I wanted to try Axie Infinity, and I went on the marketplace, and I was like, oh, this is an investment. But now letting people just jump in and play and see their Axies and use all the different cards and learn the meta without that huge barrier, to me is game changing. For us to just tell our friends to try it out, like you don't need to spend anything. That was like a big thing for me. Like I was telling all my friends about it, but then without really diving into the blockchain side of things, it was really hard for them since that's obviously a barrier in a lot of blockchain space products. And then I think the other part is just Charms and Runes. I think it's a completely different type of gameplay that didn't exist in Origin before. In Battles V2, and it'll just create this new kind of season by season change in what people are doing, and not just purely battling, but also crafting these and upgrading them, and getting better ones over the season to compete. And so that's probably one of the biggest mechanics that I'm really excited about.
Awesome. And just a quick follow-up on the whole just speed change of how Axie is going to play. Do you think that with this major speed change and new players coming into the game, is there a world where we could see, like, for example, I'm starting off as a new player with the new starter Axies, and I'm getting to go through, like, a Gmail type tutorial where my first match is, against, the environment or, some bots, but it's taking me step by step through the process for a new player to just jump in and kind of immerse themselves without being overwhelmed by all of the things that they're going to see on the screen when a new match starts up?
Yeah, I mean, for new players, the way the tutorial works is they actually, won't even have access to a lot of the new things to start. And they'll have to go through PvE a little bit, which will have those, more detailed, click here, click there, this is how this works tutorials. And so that will make it a lot easier for people to just learn the game to start. And then, charms will unlock, runes will unlock, PvP will unlock. So it's progressive. We won't just kind of throw players straight into PvP, like some players might end up doing in B2.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bryce. Appreciate the good question. Let's keep moving right along. We'll try to pitch it back to Adrian. Paging Adrian Rodriguez. Are you here, buddy? We'd love to hear from you. No, okay. I guess not. Well, we'll keep trying. Let's send it over to Santiago. Santiago, are you with us? I saw you disconnected earlier. Hopefully you're with us as well.
Hey, what's up, fam? Andrew, thank you for bringing me up. Or Abuelita, we call you Abuelita in the Latin community. Thank you, G-Host, everyone, for doing this space. Philip, welcome to Axie Infinity. And my question is, as what I'm hearing right now, all this crafting and everything reminds me of... Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you sound great.
My mom called me, my bad. So, the crafting and everything reminds me of a game called World of Warcraft, where you have different classes and you can, like, there's this shaman where it can be elemental or enhancement, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's more powerful. It's whatever you like. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's very similar to that. And my other question is about the Builders program. Like, I've been seeing all these game developers doing crazy stuff, and I'm just wondering if we're gonna be able to play these games in 2022. And thank you guys for bringing me up. And Bryce, and I started playing Axie because of you, so thank you for that.
Much love, brother, for sure.
Much love, man.
Thanks for the questions. So I think on the first part, if I understand it correctly, I believe so. With charms and runes, they're not necessarily upgrades, like part upgrades, which is something I've brought up before and is different from charms and runes. But yeah, like all of them will have different effects. They're just like plus 10 attack across the board, or for all the different charms and runes, there's a lot of different effects. Some of them will help you create new kind of combos. Some of them might be more just pure buffs. And so yeah, it'll definitely just create a lot of different new unique combinations and strategies. And then on the Builders program, I mean, I'd love to see some of them come out with experiences this year. Really, I think some of the smaller projects, like the hyper casual type, will be more likely if they're bigger than less so. But yeah, definitely on our side right now, we are figuring out what the best way is to structure this. Obviously, a big part is we want to be supportive and enable the community to build on top of Axie and the platform. But we also want to make sure that these projects will add value to the ecosystem as a whole, and people aren't, building these projects and then taking extracting value out of our ecosystem, or using the Axie IP in ways that might be negative, or even doing things that would be bad for the community directly. Shipping projects, or selling things and then not putting out promises that they put out there. So there's a lot of things we need to think about in terms of protecting the Axie ecosystem and community. So that's kind of what I'm working with the team on right now, and it's going to probably take a bit more time to figure out all those nuances and balance friction versus protection.
I'd also like to highlight. Actually, never mind. Just lost my train of thought. My mistake. Very good, though. Thank you for that question, Santiago. Really great stuff. It just came back to me. Timing is really hard to estimate with this stuff because building takes time, and a lot of these builders, I love the ambitious nature of some of these projects. I've heard past developers say, it's really easy to make a cinematic. It's way harder to make a game. So sometimes screenshots or little clips can be a little bit misleading, where it seems like, wow, that game must be really close to being done. And really that's one or two characters that are in a sandbox. And yes, those characters are really cool, but they're still really far away from the game itself being completed. So I think just keep that in mind, that the white paper is one thing, but then building the white paper is something totally different. And I'm sure some of these projects will be ahead of schedule. Some of them will be behind schedule. And it's going to be a case-by-case thing.
Z, if you don't mind me just jumping in really quick, how is it for you kind of being one of the people at the forefront of sourcing these different builders applications? And for people in the audience who are looking to potentially, put an application in the future, even if it's not this, quarter, maybe next quarter, what are some things that the Axie team looks for in very good, robust builder applications?
Currently, definitely, as we go through, it's a lot about the team and their skills, and how feasible their project seems, how much progress they've made. Those are all some of the big factors, and then really alignment to what Axie Infinity is about. Is this about really helping the community and helping the ecosystem,